Jr. a year to Jose Mourinho.
Of course.
But for Onwan Kasa to sit
in the meeting.
Yeah. Some you're part of the meeting.
Yes.
And probably convince Vini to stay. No. That is very, very important.
And come on. Say ye didn't say ya ebi obi ntiase so Vinicius Jr so pesca mo fama no, there are always different strategies to get players to stay. You be Ferran Torres won come on. And a similar thing is happening over there. But Vinicius Jr, how important he is to Real Madrid for setup no. And you see akofa Yan Diomande aba. Ama ya man green light mpuso won in the medicals. E Real Madrid kromo. But Rich enka Yan Diomande ba nko bi beka say any woman Vinicius Jr. nkwe because when your replacement they are unko. But the player in Yan Diomande within 19 years pay. The shoes that will be left for him to come and fill in Real Madrid no. And your shoes kitwa. Yeah, for this and Vinicius Jr. Yan Adrian so will free Real Madrid. Rich, do you think that Yan Diomande is that player who comfortably comes into the Real Madrid setup and gives them that kind of performance on being here? You can't do that. I was say Omumano easy into the team. Into ABI they will be free bench aba. Uti bench Jose Mourinho be fro bra. So who the ekoso, who the way Vinicius Jr. airball, me person obon the sama me. I'm already 19 years. Into Wabano, he will be coached on and off the bench. To get that confidence he needs to play for Real Madrid. What did they small team? It's a big team. And then he has signed for over 140 million euros. Making him one of the most expensive players. Into the reason why Vinicius Jr. no contract out and no negotiate no. Jose Mourinho was because he knew the value of the player. And he knows very well say Samanko Kauna man convince the player and say on Real Madrid asembeba. And Sasem no. By the time Vinicius Jr. will leave, say Premier League he is carrying away a certain leverage that he may have on the team in terms of what he wants in his outcomes in games. Because Obiaji to Mr. Mourinho no coaching power no aba from kakra. Until you say, oh, Vinicius Jr. will team no more. At least you have a player who has exceptional skill and quality, who has experience in the Champions League and in the domestic league. If for nothing at all, be to him 20 goals and assists per season, he will give you. So that is why Jose Mourinho here now said, no, this player, and yes, he's going to influence the amount of Beji. But Obetimia can send be actually player, and I'm a player who said, no, I need to be able to do my things well, stay at Real Madrid. Na me moi, Emma Jose Mourinho ne media all babedi ewo Real Madrid no akon kayama. Very, very important conversation. And to me, want to say Jose Mourinho in that negotiation is more important to a Real Madrid club, no, even more than the player. Inti Omuwieno, I was saying Florentino Perez or called Danasi Papa Jose Mourinho. No, he has to go and thank the manager because this is what Real Madrid need. But Vini Jr. ne contract extension. They would have decided they will not negotiate. Because Florentino Perez was an very stubborn businessman. Obetimia and Adrian say okay, person ko. So Jose Mourinho will step in, have the conversation, and help the player to stay. And I think says Ciano, you can see say Vinicius Jr. himself, no one near Adrian so be free Real Madrid. And I think that also boy.
So for Obiabia Vinicius Jr. Story by Ebukra on shared anti details and demands I say Branton or Real Madrid. No? Yeah. I think it will be proper. Said no person uncle for analyst, you bet me inform you on so.
Yeah.
Then they are linking it to and no meeting on me.
Yeah.
A Branton so see ya say the demands na first all year. After the meeting, Real Madrid meeting na
good.
He want to stay at Real Madrid. And the first of no, yes, start with Abrante demands Ben and all your Real Madrid or to open again. Or the Madrid for anything.
Say the demands of Vini Jr. No, now he wanted a net salary.
Okay.
Of close to about 30 million.
That's to be a free
per annual, per year, 30 million euros. But now, no, in Comona a free Real Madrid for on air ban, it may reduce Now that reduction, you need confirmation.
Okay.
Because details of that contract has not come out. And my NTA. But what we know and they say after that conversation and now meeting on Mokoi, there were positive talks to get Vinicius Jr to stay into the year Casa Siciano. In Chechemunu Baba Bonting, we will know how much compromiser Vinicius Jr had to come to reach an agreement with Real Madrid concerning his contract. Say 30 million or more to be reduced, and I know definitely for sure, and yet 30 million euros. Ebeba from Kakra. Say and yet 25, it will be around 22-23 million euros net. But I'm pretty sure, say, the players' clauses are only kind of contracts in terms of the image rights and nyama bonuses add-ons. Those are the things that may make the difference. But of course, in Chechemunu ebeba bonting enya mai.
Okay, so for example, Ebia Vinicius Jr also pay 30 million. 30 million yen Real Madrid yen timi chiasa kana. But see you betumi let's say 24.
Good.
6 na kano. You be so image right no. Ebia kane let's say 70-30 at this time. You already say ben is 60-40.
Something like that.
So na just can kakra free hono de aba.
Yeah.
I feel so you be so one number of matches be. Because we money. The more you sign your money na honso you sika bia you between the amount so that you bet your amount to 30 million.
Because that is an incentive. So any contract keke any year they two people so sign or performance on the pitch. And Vinicius Jr is not new to the performances. So he can give all of those things to the team. 20 goals and assists per season. Anything for Vinicius Jr.
Vini between say 20 goals.
Oh, Rich. This season. You see, what I am happy about and it's a player and Casano onye na dreams will be free Real Madrid. Even though Arsenal for net omu player nechi. And they were willing to say the demands they would have met it. Rich, you and I yenimi. Say Arsenal for no way Madrid say omu kofa Vinicius Jr. It will hurt their pocket. Omu to be a chiao. But that money they will pay Vinicius Jr. And sure by the time the year will come to an end, no, omu can say feel say okay, yakofa player ye chianika. To feel it. But the player nye na dream so obey free Real Madrid. So that's the positive thing about this whole situation. Kwa na dream so obey free Real Madrid. And oye na dream so obey stubborn on coach training. Obey standoff no obey catching mpenyifo so opeso oko. That is where we believe the program would have come from. But now no, there was nothing like that. It's not about Real Madrid for no. And I think from now and henceforth no, Jose Mourinho will become a very influential player. Now is what to say you know. Jude Bellingham, any other player.
You see, so taste you after the meeting.
Good.
As a phenomenon in APNO BS meaning Vini is staying.
Good.
Okay. What that means is that you say a brand any demands, you know.
Abia de meet.
Real Madrid meet. Okay. So any says I sense you will be so you never be a dance.
Good. Improved contract office.
See, almost so yes, almost they are considering so much about culture Real Madrid. And penny for say, boo, some yama consider
and the Munyama
being so macabna. Oh, you see, okay, maybe time and story in the shah says a poppy up no. But culture was an answer say about it. I knew it. And then another Real Madrid didn't person but
that kind of
because they knew say Omuma Vinicius Jr. Sasi kana. Players na can Mbappe, Ada Goulet, you can say
Kylian Mbappe no and Jude Bellingham. Yeah.
These are senior players.
Yeah.
Almost about say okay. Someone on the amane dia, money so dia man.
Yeah.
And the basa na ma se demands ne asase e kosoro.
Yeah. Then it affects
club no so dey sikasem.
Yeah.
Intended na man Real Madrid for no more etwitwa mo na ase but the coach in question is say look Abraham or come project on.
Yeah.
And for Jose Mourinho to sit
and allow the player to leave
in the meeting and not know how important Vinicius Jr.
Yeah.
I think Madrid in pay way to manage the situation.
Of course they will have to.
And yes, I escalate club ni be problem. But I don't know. Fans ni be go for no pay you. Real Madrid fans ni be. Omo dwapa. Omo dwapa ti abrante bi message odi abana. I don't know say senior name minim club I support senka be me hu a anka be me de pa because o message no it looks like as a Real Madrid fan. Was it what are you talking about? He prefer money than the club. Even Ronaldo left. Then who is Vinicius Jr? Was it Vini no? Branton and the push and the BB also scattering club no. Now Ronaldo Cristiano Ronaldo free Real Madrid. No. Who is Vinicius Jr?
Rich, say when it has to do with player contracts and Sika or Mopeno, in Comono is not one-sided. And yeah, I will see a year pan. Look, every player has their price. And as time is going on, Rich, every player in the new baby or be a contracts now or with club no in improvement or how often so. Now, Rich, don't forget say you bought FIFA World Cup a week. And play a beer or bought World Cup nibino knows very well that per their performance at the World Cup, if they did so well for their respective nations, it is also a leverage of media dinaso. Aka said they want better offers from their respective clubs. Ebi na esi wo Ferran Torres ne Julian Alvarez situation. And their players have every right to do that. And your player no, and in a buona I want so no, and I will advocate for. Say yem pejem kakra, and Real Madrid is not a small club. It is a okase or pay more money than the club. It may not necessarily be the case. But the player wants something that is deserving of honor name and the brand.
Just says Akra, a brand and funds on the day.
Only from Sobia. Now, players no or agents.
Don't know few so do you know? I don't know demand.
That is it.
And you see, Yama Mam Fontiasia, Vinicius Jr.
On your small player.
On your small player. The Vini Bina, maybe Real Madrid. He's not the same Vinicius Jr. now. Yeah. He's a big player. Umpo Vinicius Jr. at Real Madrid is a big player. Of
course.
Big players they will demand.
Sanity.
Because I understand. I don't know. Unless I check because Obia sending message BCC say the image right of Kylian Mbappe 80-20. Ono Kylian Mbappe no 80 na Real Madrid 20. And on 30 plus annually.
Yeah.
What I say, I'm here to check. But what I want people to understand is players, you know. For example, Vinicius Jr. He's not a bad player. On your small player who demanded 30 million a year beyond him. And Ronaldo Krauko, and so what? Vinicius Jr. Umpo. Now he's a big player. 30 million. So Madrid for the pay way to pay it.
Of course.
So if you say Kylian Mbappe Monsuba Bania dia, then no maintenance. The office over to you do it for them.
A player by player. Inti Obinko on the internet players.
Who didn't cover Ronaldo problem?
You can't do that.
They're unacceptable.
Inti also ye for no muti ni ye pan they understand the whole situation. Because semi Vinicius Jr. na me say this is what I demand. I need to be able to enter the negotiation no. Inti manko kase me here 30 million nti mfa mame.
Me tie. O de mame mfa me honye example. And I okay o de mame mfa honye example. I tell you me use Joshua as example. Joshua Obama to me. Obi aba first in there we be a money me akofa bi a 30,000 and 40,000 be the amount. Then why you adwuma bi a 3-4 years bi. If you say another 30 million. Sorry, 30,000 and 40,000 zabe to ma obesan. You do it.
I need to get the offer to be raised.
What I say? It's the Vinicius Jr. now or Real Madrid maybe no. He's not the same Vinicius Jr. now. He's a big player. It's in China. Ronaldo Krauko and Nadia Bende. Oh yes, sir. A bedroom maybe unya big players no more Real Madrid. Players in Domu Dunu Tuamomo. These are game changers. What I say? Vinicius Jr. is a game changer. Oh yeah, Real Madrid fan facho team. He's a game changer. Say nyama mu yadia. On the team is the result of the game.
Absolutely.
Okay, Abrantoni de about senior name also a Real Madrid fan kese pa. E no be into na no
otutu. But on tia say because san ebeye.
You move on na. Minimum transfer open so there to us.
Say eno na ye di Julian Alvarez on but we couldn't expand it. Rich, you see, they said they're making players go World Cup, you know, Musaba Baka. The players do everything possible to get improved contracts. And Julian Alvarez, wabra yebo World Cup no. Ono de beto abontin say. Opeso free Atletico Madrid. The player has a contract at Atletico Madrid. So contract ebe expire 2030. Yeah. But odebeto abontin no. It was clear. Sena player na Adrian said right after the World Cup, possibly there could be something happening. So betimi fi Atletico Madrid. Now, Rich, when a player makes that public statement, it's that one thing. Why not Adrian say Nietie biano senye sisi ampoa in the future? Obepeso will be free to go and play the club that he himself desires over Kokoboho. Now, Nientia Atletico Madrid fire stubborn kakrani say they have a release clause. Our brand new contract of 500 million euros. Now, Rich, that 500 million euros no automatically so your team now who say Julian Alvarez release clause 500 million euros. You not approach the player because when you say player no, they are just trying to ward off any form of interest from any club for the player. So they are pushing everybody away. That was the situation. But the player no, Rich, at this point, you have created a sort of chaos. Because now the player is so few. But who Atletico Madrid no? Why do you say you not allow the player to go? It is Sisiano. Oshe situation now. Atletico Madrid have made up their mind they will not allow the player to go. It is Sisiano. Barcelona for have tried everything possible to get the player. It's a sporting director your friend Deku. Ekoshia player and agents. Ewo Madrid Krumuho. And he made it clear to him say they want to try and get an offer of something a little above 100 million euros. Because Barcelona for your Madrid so on the main player no. Sika omode call ye 100 million. And Atletico Madrid forecast said no, we will not accept that 100 million euros. Into Dekone, Atletico any player any agent could come on. Right now, what is coming from there? And they say they want to try and give a bid of something at least around 120-130 million euros. Senebeya, they will try and push the player to publicly make it clear against Opesoba Barcelona. Say Rich in common a free Spain Urban say by August 10th there was a players now call World Cup they report back to training until also Julian Alvarez by August 10th no or back to Atletico Madrid. And according to reports no player na Adrian say uncle back to training or person born who be out to force his way out of Atletico Madrid. And player, one report that's why Adrian say
player will contract band 2030. Also or boycott training
to force his way out. One report also say by August 10th, if there's no resolution for this particular situation, obey Jaine Chidi and go and look for another player. But Rich in Komono, the reason why this is very interesting and they say on say maybe betray mu yehun sadie no in the Premier League. Wabra Alexander Isak. And Adrian say on coach training and he forced his way out of Newcastle to Liverpool. What is this thing about institutional control over air players' decisions? Because you are under contract until 2030. Release clause of 500 million euros. But player so person free or no Koboma Barcelona. And Atletico Madrid, they have the option of receiving some 120 million no, or 130 million no, and allow the player to go because Oyasana You are trying to say that you have absolute control over the player. 500 million euros release clause. Why did they trust this scam? Nobody will pay that money.
And trigger it.
Nobody will pay it. So when you assume that control over the player, purchase control over the and player need to mean any so free. And I think to me it's a problem. Because according to Atletico Madrid for no, they are dictating the players' terms according to what they want, not according to what the player wants.
No, but player who contract by end 2030 there.
Reach me too.
And then also boycott training because you want to move to a different club.
But Rich, say any question the contract nobody really answer.
Me feel say on a nice way. No na Atletico Madrid for no enkasa. Rather than so because on training.
Well, you have a point.
Because contract na kawo way ne so no. A years na kawo contract ne so no.
You cannot decide, yeah.
Say 1 year be there fine. 2 years fine. But 2030. And there's a release clause that will contract him
of 500 million euros.
It is a chinchina at the penalty. Yes, here be a 200 million. Though there's a release clause. Yes, here 200 million. So Barcelona for food so almost as a cana, anything less than 200 million, yama uncle. So penno of food okay. Minimum at transient negotiating area, unimumrano. Go and trigger the 500 million for Branton. And see, I think Julian Alvarez employ a nice way. Only Atletico Madrid in penny for an international.
Yeah.
Rather than so, because say, maybe I must have my main cover so now. Let's make my training a bad pusher.
You only say, but when you say, I think, come on, there are different angles to the conversation.
Two. Me no contract. Contract me munye. I can decide okay.
So kasa wo mbodi ya.
O de tenafie me metua oka. Tra o de 2010 so akọ. That is why I'm saying that. Julian Alvarez no so consider near baby. Because enye 1 year asem near ka.
This is to 2030.
2030.
Over 4 years left.
What I say? 2030 at the end me na me dia. E japade me na me fu ye kuta me obi so obeto. Me se ka cho so chinchina abeto ase na mpe. So this has to can go.
Enti on say the other angle no so say. The player na yes is here is to demonstrate that institutions in air football no, even say clubs no, must not have absolute control over the player's decision. Meaning say they want to come and say because who angle no so very valid.
Me sure say I say Atletico Madrid for no person me chinchin ani bia.
Okay.
What I say? Almost say who play an ankasa na yenye advance e beton. And a first option. Secondly, you know a contractor a run it to 2030. And all of a sudden obi abaso so opel. And yes, a brand na mo se mo peno no. Ya kura yenye advance e beton no. Ba se chin ya obeton no a say na me pe. Take it or leave it. That is why I'm saying that the contract na account years na account no contract this.
Or say or the year
enye 1 year bi na 2 year bi no aka so. O dey say e bucket ka kra metumi atena ho. 1 year no so na dey say Kylian Mbappe yibi. And or the Real Madrid free agent. What I say? We are talking about 4 years. Enti Abrante no find a nice way. No mon transfer no mon kasa no on kon Barcelona.
No, me no, I agree with what you are saying. But the na me person me dey to Johnny say he in his own way no. Or person or use that strategy way to try and look at that situation of say institutions air control player. Say oh man feel and I kind of 4 years. And because of that no 500 million now or contract so as release clause no if it's not triggered we are not allowing you to go no. Acquire the control be a done so.
Okay.
So me if I were the player, they are okay and one come here. Because look at other players. Bruno G say some come so bit make us one code training.
Go training. A breach of contract.
What's what you are saying?
Contract.
So, you cannot do that.
On fire nice way now for Anye. Minimum nas pick na anyana yema besma ku super empire la so brem na anya
last one here Ferran Torres there no.
Ese Barcelona for the buofunu pa gidi.
Rich.
Ade why dey?
Ferran Torres go di nkomo bi wo US. NBC Sports. No, it's not even NBC Sports for no. NBC. Omo ye media house o US abonten so. Ena Ferran Torres ekodi nkomo bi omo ye interview. Fe. Eni ye bisa ni nsem bi about the future. Eno mo bisa no. The Barcelona contract no. Any modern boy or down the D for Barcelona even at the World Cup no mo bisa ni sansem ni bebre. Emma Ferran Torres Ekoka say Barcelona for no must show that they want him. Because Oshe Ferran Torres Sisia, he has 1 year left on his contract. Into the contract no by June 2027 na abane wiye. As Sisia no was saying Barcelona for they go into contract talks with the player to try and get him to sign for the future. But Okudi is sound common. And I feel the Barcelona for no they are wondering. But in Sembe na yejafu odi tudwe. Ose we must show that we want him. And Ekwakwa as a Barcelona for no omum pena sem, or he's not being shown so much respect in the times past. But Rich, again, for a player who has played at the World Cup final and has scored the winning goal, definitely you expect that this player will want to demand something bigger and something higher. In this ocean, he was posturing as somebody who deserves more from a Barcelona. And the player, no, or say be a club, they did not show me love in times past. And I want more love, and some more love, no, you can think about it as better contract, better salary. But Rich in community, it was expected, say, Ferran Torres will not go and sit on a big platform like NBC and say those things. Because contract negotiations, no, Barcelona for your Madrid say by September, then they will try and see whether they can enter an agreement with the player. But Sisi aye say PSG for so the player nechi. And Barcelona are thinking that if an offer of 55 million euros comes for Ferran Torres or Mema Brandt Enako. But you see, the thing is that, Rich, does Ferran Torres necessarily have to leave Team IFN Barcelona? At this point, in Sema Okokan or NBC, no, it has created some form of disaffection. Because if any case, Ferran Torres crying and say Obeka team mua. Because of Sanyamana Okokan, no, I'm sure it will affect his performance and also the way the club would treat him moving forward. Because you see, I say, Hansi Flick is not happy about the statement of Okokan. Some of the players in the team are not happy about some of Okokan or NBC. So what is the possibility? Rich, I think Ferran Torres will leave Barcelona.
Okay.
Because after saying all of these things, right after the World Cup and scoring that winning goal, I think I have to move and go and play somewhere where I'll get a better offer, where somebody will love me better, and I'll also be very happy. Now PSG Hono, Luis Enrique is the coach. Only Ferran Torres are pain. So I will not be shocked. So
okay. Joshua Holutu and I'm telling can in 4.5. Yena yen to so emfama but